Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from shomus biology. This is another biology math problem series video. और इस वीडियो में हम हिंदी इंग्लिश में मिक्स लैंग्वेज में वीडियो बना रहे हैं. एंड दिस वीडियो इज ऑल अबाउट द क्लैडोग्राम एनालिसिस प्रॉब्लम्स. क्लैडोग्राम एनालिसिस की प्रॉब्लम के बारे में बात करेंगे. There are different cladogram analysis problems from unit 9 in CSIR NET life science examination. If you are from zoology background, then you are familiar to it. अगर नहीं हो तो भी कोई बात नहीं, you can solve them quite easily without much of a problem. I'll teach you how to solve some of the cladogram problems. What are the approach that you should take to solve them? For example, this one, identify the most appropriate cladogram that can be constructed using data matrix given below, assuming zeros is plesiomorphic and 1 is apomorphic character. So there are these two category of characters that are generally present in a cladogram, that is the genetic relatedness of organisms generally depicted by cladogram. Now you need to have this basic idea that there is a common ancestor always, and from common ancestor there is a derivation of new characters. So the new characters may have a specialization, let's say specialization 1, here it is specialization 2, but both the organism with specialization 1 and 2, they have a common specialization, let's say specialization X, which is shared by both S. So X specialization is present in both individual S1 and S2, but in this case they are sharing this X from their ancestor. They had the same feature in their ancestor, that is the feature is X, but now along with X they have a new feature S1 that makes them new species, and the S2 makes a new species. So this is how always the genetic relatedness works. So there is a common ancestor, and from common ancestor it distributes and become more new features added. So the existing feature, there is a set of existing feature which are known as plesiomorphic features, and the new characters that are derived, let's say the S1 is a new character, the new character is known as apomorphic character. So these are these two different characters, plesiomorphic character which is existing one, in this case the X, and the new character which is achieved is known as apomorphic here, or in this case it's apomorphic character or derived character. So derived character is apomorphic and existing character is plesiomorphic. Clear? This is the only information that you need to understand in order to answer this question. Okay, and basically cladogram analysis questions will check whether you properly calculate the connection between organisms to their common ancestor. Okay, so here you can see that the 0 means plesiomorphic, means ancestral character, and 1 means apomorphic or derived character. So there are 4 such organisms are mentioned, A, B, C and D, and for them 5 important characters, 5 characters are listed, character number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so these are characters here in the horizontal line, and A, B, C, D are the organisms in the vertical line. Now from there you need to figure out, you need to find out the relationship between them. अब ये जानना है कि देखो A, B, C, D किस हिसाब से अपने एक दूसरे के साथ कनेक्टेड है, ये तुम्हें ढूंढ के निकालना है. डिटेल्स दिया गया है, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 है कैरेक्टर्स, 5 प्रकार के कैरेक्टर, और A, B, C, D है 4 अलग ऑर्गेनिज्म. तो ये 5 प्रकार के कैरेक्टर ऑर्गेनिज्म में सिमिलर है या डिसिमिलर है, ये तुम्हें ढूंढ के निकालना है, राइट? दैट्स व्हाट यू नीड टू फिगर आउट. सो हियर यू नो, whenever you try to solve this kind of problems, make sure the very first thing that you need to find out is the organism who is most primitive. So this is the rule number 1, let me tell you. So find out organism who is most primitive. Most primitive means the oldest category. So they have maximum orthodox characters, not derived one, right? इसका मतलब है पुराना जो characters होना चाहिए था, सबसे old characters और features वाला जो organism है उसको तुम्हें पहले ढूंढ के निकालना है. And then slowly from there you also will find out the most new or derived organism with most derived character. फिर ढूंढना है वैसे organism को जो सबसे नया character को derive कर चुका है. So if you find this 2 out, you can easily construct a cladogram, a cladogram tree from here. And the options are given. This is actually a CSIR NET question previous years, and they provided you with this cladogram tree. यहाँ से answer निकालना है. So in this case you can clearly see how to find out organism with most primitive character. Here the organism with most primitive character will have all zeros. Zero का मतलब है that is primitive, one is derived. So organism with maximum zero is the most primitive. तो यहाँ पे organism कौन सा organism है with maximum zero? A. So A is the most primitive. So सबसे पहले जिसको हम separate कर देंगे that is A. A should be separated at the very beginning. So from start point, now we are drawing here. So this is the start point, this is the common ancestor and then we are division. So division में सबसे पहले अलग कौन होगा? A. देखो यहाँ पे option A में A अलग हुआ है तो that can be an option. In option B also A अलग हुआ है so that can be an option. In option C, first B gets identified and separated, which is not true because A supposed to be the most primitive in nature. So again in D, A is not separated. Now here you can see in D, A is separated in the right hand side, but that's not the concern. Concern is always you need to find out from the common ancestor the derivation. Derivation को हमेशा common ancestral point से calculate करना है और वहां से देखें तो यहाँ पे पहले D किया गया, that is not true. We know from common ancestral point A must be derivated. So A is the most primitive category. A को सबसे पहले बाहर निकालेंगे. That is also known as an out group. Okay, this is also known as out group. आउट ग्रुप का मतलब होता है सबसे प्रिमिटिव कैरेक्टर और उसको सबसे पहले हम बाहर कर देते हैं. एंड बेस्ड ऑन द आउट ग्रुप वी कंपेयर ऑल द अदर इंडिविजुअल्स विद दैट आउट ग्रुप. आउट ग्रुप के साथ अलग अलग इंडिविजुअल्स को हम कंपेयर करते हैं एंड देन बाय कंपेयरिंग इट वी गेट टू द पॉइंट के फ्रॉम आउट ग्रुप यस वन कैरेक्टर इज डिराइव्ड देन एक्स, सेकंड कैरेक्टर डिराइव, टू कैरेक्टर डिराइव्स वाई, थ्री कैरेक्टर डिराइव जेड, लाइक दैट वी सेग्रीगेट. तो वही है आउट ग्रुप यहाँ पे A है सो दैट इज फाइन. सो दैट मीन्स C और D तो नहीं होगा, ऑप्शन A और B में से ही कोई करेक्ट आंसर है. नाउ नेक्स्ट थिंग यू नीड टू सी इज नंबर ऑफ फीचर्स दैट आर कॉमन among them. Now you can see the in this case maximum, so B has how many derived character? Two derived characters. See this one and this one, two derived characters. C has only one derived character and D has three derived character. Right? This is known as Wagner method of constructing a cladogram. In the Wagner method, what we need to do is basically count the number of unique or derived characters. और उसको ऐड करके जितना सबसे ज़्यादा derived हो, that is the rightest part of the cladogram table, and the one which is the least is the leftest part of the cladogram. तो leftest part में तो हम तो A correct दिया because A is the most primitive, and then we saw for B the derived character 2 1 means two derived characters. For C only one derived character. For D थ्री डिराइव्ड कैरेक्टर. तो इससे क्या पता चलता है? इससे पता चलता है कि जो जीरो डिराइव्ड कैरेक्टर इज फॉर ए, तो ए सबसे लेफ्ट साइड में होगा. उसके बाद कौन होगा? सो जीरो डिराइव्ड कैरेक्टर फॉर ए सबसे लेफ्ट में, देन वन डिराइव्ड कैरेक्टर इज फॉर सी, दैट विल बी आफ्टर लिटिल राइट ऑफ ए, देन टू डिराइव्ड कैरेक्टर फॉर बी, लिटिल राइट ऑफ सी, एंड देन थ्री डिराइव्ड कैरेक्टर फॉर डी. तो डी सबसे राइट में. सो ए सी बी डी, दैट शुड बी द सीक्वेंस. ए इज डिराइव्ड first furthest because that's the out group. उसके बाद आएगा one derived character that is C, then B, then D. So A, C, D, A, C, B and D, that is option B in this case is the correct answer. As per this four options, B should be the correct answer because यहाँ पे you can see that the A derived earlier, that is the out group, primitive character derived, then the C with only one character, then B with two characters and then D with three characters. Now if we combine that B and D, see between B and D you can see there is a similarity between this character number 2 as well as the character number 3. They are similar between character number 2 and 3. दो characters में दोनों के similar है, but D also have an extra character that is character number 5. For character number 5 D gets separated. D is unique because D have character number 5. D has character number 5. B missed the character number 5 although both of them shares character number 2 and 3. Okay, so that is how you need to figure out these questions. Now it may seem little complicated at the beginning if you are new to it, but the more you practice the better you will get in order to answer these questions. उतना difficult नहीं है cladogram analysis. आपको सिर्फ यही जानना होता है कि common ancestor क्या है और out group क्या है. आउट ग्रुप का जो फीचर्स है वो प्लीसोमॉर्फिक कैरेक्टर कहा जाता है और जो डिराइव्ड है उसको हम एपोमॉर्फिक कैरेक्टर कहते हैं. पर्टिकुलरली यूनिकली डिराइव्ड कैरेक्टर इज नोन एज सिनेपोमॉर्फिक character. So pleisomorphic and apomorphic character and finding the out group, finding the common ancestor, and you are always there to answer the question quite easily. Okay, और ऐसे ही question को हम answer करते हैं. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of this question if you like to. I I'll give you the time to do that. And now we'll move on to another problem. Now this problem that we are going to move into a little complicated, and this is another question from CSIR NET Life Science previous year's question paper. This one stated, based on the coefficient of association table given below, which of the following taxonomic phenogram of relationship is correct? So coefficient of association, there is a new term that is there. You know, you may not always get the same question every single year of CSIR NET exam. So you may find a new question, coefficient of association table. Now if you look at the table, you know, many students fear by seeing this kind of question and they leave the question, but try to at least see what they are saying. Coefficient of association table means in the x and y both axes we have, so S and S, you can see S and S 100% coefficient meal, T and T 100%, W 100%, X 100%. That means what we are trying to achieve, what we are trying to see in this table is basically the character similarity between S and S, obviously same characters, so similarity is 1 means 100%, ठीक है. और जहाँ पे कैरेक्टर एक है मतलब 100% है, एक 0.8 मतलब 80%, 0.77% 70%, तो इस हिसाब से इसको अरेंज किया गया है, राइट. सो बिटवीन T एंड W यू कैन सी बिटवीन T एंड W द वैल्यू इज 0.7, सो वो 70% सिमिलर है T एंड W के बीच कैरेक्टर का रिलेशनशिप. सो बाय दिस फैशन द टेबल विल हेल्प यू टू अंडरस्टैंड से व्हाट इज द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन टू कैरेक्टर्स. सेम कैरेक्टर हुआ तो 100% सिमिलैरिटी, वो तो सभी को पता है, और अगर उससे कम हो तो कितना कम हो उसके बारे में दिया गया है. सो फ्रॉम दिस टेबल यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड हियर दैट T एंड Z हैज लीस्ट सिमिलर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स क्योंकि द वैल्यू इज 0. 0 means least similar characteristics is between T and Z. They are not at all similar, they are totally different characters. Okay. Now from this table you need to find out a cladogram कि ये जो अलग अलग organisms like S, T, W, X, Y, how these characters are derived based on the similarity score. So similarity score को देख के आपको cladogram construct करना है, और यहाँ पे example के तौर पे दिया भी गया है कि इस हिसाब से cladogram construct हो रहा है, right? So the easy way to solve this is basically to find out देखो maximum value should be 100%, that is 1, we know that, but apart from 1 what is the next closest similarity score? तो एक के बाद सबसे closest 0.9 होना चाहिए, और वो है 0.9, 0.8 we have them, and the least values 0.2, 0.1, 0 is the least value, but we apart from 0 we have 0.1, 0.2 like that. So we are trying to see the relationship. Now how exactly we will see the relationship? The most similar characteristics, so between Y and Z you can see, or W and X, S and T like that, it's provided like this. So you can see they should be very similar in terms of their score. They should be very similar because they are connected by a common ancestor. तो जो दो characters एक common ancestor द्वारा connected होगा उसका score भी high होना चाहिए, right? तो देखो W and X, between W and X if you count between X and W that is 0.9 है. So between W and X that is 0.9. Between S and T, so T and S 0.8, fine, similar है. And between Y and Z, if you also check Y and Z, that is 0.9, that is also similar. So 0.9, 0.8 is very similar. So ST, YZ, WX, WX, ST, YZ, WX, ST, YZ. So for all of them, they are very similar. So they are constructed real enough. Now what you need to understand is basically the interrelation between one member of this group and another member of this group. तो वो ले लेते हैं Y and W, ऐसा कुछ ले लेते हैं Y and W. देखो Y, W and Y कहाँ पे मिलेगा? You have a Y here and W 0.2. So Y and W we have a 0.2. So here we have a value of 0.2 as per this. Y and W here we have a 0.2 here. Okay. Y and W we have a 0.2. Okay. And here also Y and W. So here we have 0.2. Okay. So this is how it is presented. तो अगर Y और W के बीच की रिलेशन देखें तो 0.2 कहाँ पे आ रहा है? 0.2 is somewhere here in the scale. For this fourth option, 0.2 is almost at the last quadrant of the scale, and this is almost first quadrant of the scale. So now let's see some others. Let's see between S. So between this, एक member यहाँ से लेते, एक member यहाँ से लेते. So we'll take one from here, one from here. So let's take S and X or S and W, something like that. S and W let's take. W and S 0.5, we get 0.5, W and S, this is 0.5, W and S, so this is calling 0.5 here, because S is in this top, W is in this top, so this is the common ancestor 0.5. S and W also connected here, so this is coming as 0.5, and S and W, so this is where it's coming 0.5. So 0.2 and 0.5 coming in the same place as per the option A, which is not true. एक जगह तो नहीं होना चाहिए ना, 0.2 वाला जहाँ पे आ रहा है 0.5 वाला वहीं पे आ रहा है, तो वो चीज़ नहीं होगा, so option A is not true. Here also in the option D क्या आ रहा है, in option D 0.2 आ रहा है बाद में, 0.5 पीछे आ रहा है, which is also not true, not possible. So either option B और option C, इसमें से ही हमारा कोई भी एक option correct होना चाहिए, like alright, so यहाँ तक तो हमने पहुँच गया जहाँ पे there are only two options left, option B or option C. Now so we compared two individual between the first two, then the second two. Now we'll do the last comparison, one from this upper segment, one from the lower segment. So Y के साथ T. So Y with T. So let's see that. So Y with T is 0.1. Y and T is 0.1. तो यहाँ पे आता है. And this one is Y with T. This is Y and this is T. So this is coming 0.1, and here also Y, this T, so 0.1 here. Okay. So again, if you see this, between Y and T, we have 0.1. Between Z and T, let's see, Z and T 0, Z and T should be 0. So further backward, here also if you see Z and T, Z here, T here, further backward, right? So either this option B or option C can be a correct answer to us. But if you compare the YZ, we know YZ, WX, XT, all the values we know them for sure, and the big difference, the only difference between option C and option D that is present in here, because the timeline is same for both of them, 0.1, 0.2, 0.5, it's all good, it's all indicating the same thing, but there is only one big difference. It is stating that the YZ, WX and ST all are connected in this 0.5 place, or the timeline scale of 0.5, but in case of B, it is suggested that S and W or T and X, that one is little below, or and W and Y, X and Y, W and Z, that was is little right hand side in this time scale. So if you compare that again between W and Y, let's do that, W and Y comparison. If you do W and Y, that is 0.2 here, W and Y, where W and Y 0.2 in this side, right, and X and Z also, X and Z also, if you see that Z and X, that is 0.4. So in this case you can see that and so basically if you compare this Y, WY and XZ, that value, and with S and W value, so S, W or TX value should be little backward as per option B. So if you look at S and W, that is 0.5, or T and X, if you check T and X 0.6, that is little backward, but according to this S and W is 0.5, right, but in cases of T and Y, if you look at T and Y, 0.1 it's coming, so that is somewhere here. There comes the big difference between option B and option C. Now it becomes very difficult to explain by, because there are so many write-ups here at this moment in this mark. What I am about to say is what I was saying here is basically between option C and option B, the only difference is that option B is stating us that the relationship between W, Y and X and Z, okay, so any individual between this, so WX and YZ, WX and YZ, if you do that, X and WX, YZ, these are all 0.9, but individuals with W and S and W, that is 0.5, so this is 0.5, this is 0.9, this is the similarity score that we have arranged. But in this case, the ST is 0.9, that is fine, that is 0.9, but W and Z, if you do that W and Z here, Z and W, that is 0.3. So Z and W is actually this, the W and Z1 is connected to 0.3. In this case, it said that Z and W is connected somewhere here, which is somewhere in the middle, so near 0.5, not 0.3. 0.3 should be somewhere in the left hand side. 0.3 is not to that right hand side near 0.9. So that is the only difference. It is suggesting us that the option B is correctly depicting the relationship between individuals from ST and WX, individuals from WX and YZ, individual from ST and YZ, and that's how we can get it, that's how we can get it done. That's how the option B is more relevant, it is more correct to answer the question compared to any other options, that is option C, B, A and D. So option B is more appropriate. Rest all are the very similar things. Try to again understand. I am repeating again, बार बार repeat कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. इसके मुताबिक अगर देखें तो S और W, एनी इंडिविजुअल ऑफ S और W देख लो 0.5 आ रहा है, तो S W 0.5 ठीक है. S W मतलब यहाँ पे कनेक्टेड, S और W कहाँ पे कनेक्ट हो रहा है, यहाँ पे पीछे, तो यहाँ पे 0.5 दिखा दे रहा है, राइट, एस एंड डब्ल्यू का. दैट इज नॉट लॉजिकल, क्योंकि 0.5 0.3 के पीछे नहीं होना चाहिए, 0.5 0.3 के आगे होना चाहिए, राइट साइड में होना चाहिए. तो एज पर द ऑप्शन सी 0.5 इज लेफ्ट हैंड साइड ऑफ 0.3, विच इज नॉट ट्रू, बट इन दिस केस इट इज करेक्टली डिपिक्टिंग दैट 0.5 इज लिटिल लेफ्ट साइड, 0.3 इज लिटिल लेफ्ट साइड, 0.5 इज लिटिल राइट साइड नेक्स्ट टू 0.9. तो इस हिसाब से ऑप्शन बी बिकम्स मोर रेलिवेंट, मोर करेक्ट कंपेयर टू द रेस्ट, दैट इज कंपेयर टू द सी. पहले ए और डी को हमने आउट कर दिया बिकॉज ऑफ द ब्रॉडर डिफरेंसेस, but this is how we can get it, because the scale that is provided is the important single aspect that will help you to judge this 0 to 1. तो 0 से 0.9 होके 1 तक एकदम पूरा scaling, and for that reason we can count that option B is the correct answer, not any other options. Okay, so that's how it's done. Now another question that I have here is regarding the cladogram, but this time this is not related any math problems or any relationship puzzle. Here the question is very straightforward. The phylogenetic tree of amniote vertebrate is given. Vertebrates and particularly amniotic vertebrates are given in here. Okay, there are ancestral amniote, जहाँ से जो amniotic organisms है, ancestral amniote से journey start होता है, and then there are different divisions that are out there. So ancestral amniote started the journey, and it starts here with you can see the differentiation is given. reptile से division आया हुआ है, ठीक है. So as per our understanding, remember I told you earlier, the ancestral amniote that is out there, so they first get out with the D. D means here out group. ये क्या है? Out group, right? That is nothing but an out group. So out group will be separated first. Out group. So D is the out group. वो सबसे पहले बाहर जाएगा. That is the most primitive character. D is out. And afterwards there are other characters. What you need to find out is the labeling. यहाँ पे देखो अलग अलग examples दिया गया है. Snakes, turtles, birds, mammals. So how exactly all these amniotic organisms are interconnected? कैसे snake, turtle, birds, mammals ये एक के साथ एक कनेक्टेड है, कितना दे आर, हाउ मच दे आर रिलेटेड टू ईच अदर, कितना दे आर कनेक्टेड हो, एक दूसरे के साथ कनेक्टेड है, वो जानना है. तो यहाँ से एक चीज बता दें आपको कि यहाँ पे आउट ग्रुप तो पहले अलग हो गया डी. सो डी जब आउट ग्रुप होके अलग हो जाता है यहाँ पे, तो दैट इज कंप्लीटली सेपरेटेड, और ये मैमल होता है जो सबसे लास्ट यहाँ पे कैरेक्टरिस्टिक वाइज अलग हो जाएगा. क्योंकि देखो रेप्टाइल अगर ये है तो व्हाट वी हैव एज अ क्लासिफिकेशन स्कीम, रेप्टाइल, रेप्टिलिया, एविस एंड मैमेलिया. तो रेप्टिलिया होगा, देन एव्स होगा समवेयर बीसी के अंदर, यहाँ पे मैमेलिया होगा, राइट. तो ये सिंपल सी बात है. इफ वी नो दैट सीक्वेंस कॉन्ड्रिक्थिस, ऑस्ट्रिक्थिस, एम्फीबिया, रेप्टिलिया, एविस एंड मैमेलिया, तो यहाँ पे कॉन्ड्रिक्थिस, ऑस्ट्रिक्थिस की बात नहीं है क्योंकि यहाँ पे फिश के बारे में लिखा नहीं गया, बट देयर आर कनेक्शंस लाइक दैट. और यहाँ पे डी होगा मैमल्स. सो अगर डी मैमल्स होता है तो ऑप्शन बी तो करेक्ट कभी भी नहीं होगा. सो रेस्ट ऑफ द ऑप्शंस ए, सी और डी के बीच आंसर होगा. सो नाउ व्हाट शुड बी द आंसर इन दिस केस? यू कैन सी दैट द डिफरेंसेस दैट वी क्लियरली सी, रेप्टाइल, एव्स एंड मैमेलिया. तो बी एंड सी के बीच में एक टाई है कि बी बर्ड्स होगा या फिर सी बर्ड्स होगा. दैट इज समथिंग दैट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. बी एंड सी के बीच टाई यहाँ पे सिर्फ, राइट, बी और सी के बीच टाई है. और एक चीज आपको बता दें यहाँ पर, सो देयर इज अ कॉमन एंसेस्टर which is मेकिंग सी बट मेकिंग समथिंग एल्स. So B and C both are not coming from there. Here is a common ancestor जहाँ से B और C ये total diversion होता है. तो reptiles, we know that the birds, they are the ancestor, like the reptiles are the ancestors of the birds, right? So birds came after the reptiles. So reptiles से अगर start करे journey यहाँ पे, तो birds somewhere down the line तो आना ही है, right? Birds must come somewhere down the line here. And we can say that here from the reptiles, crocodiles की बात करें, crocodiles को यहाँ पे रख ले तो एक ही ancestor से connected होगा. So B would be birds in this occasion. So B birds hoga. So if B is birds and we know D is mammal, so we need to find out option where we have D mammal and B birds. You can see C bird, C snake, snake. So B bird is the option C, जहाँ पे B को कहा गया है birds, D is a mammal and C is a snake. Now snake derived completely differently because snake is a leg less, so a reptile without the leg, तो वो separate होता है. और यहाँ पे A would be the turtle. So the maximum similarity between two organisms will be like crocodile, turtle, they are connected by a reptile ancestor. Both are reptiles, turtle and crocodile. So that is another way to look into it. अब ऐसे भी देख सकते थे कि यहाँ पे A सबसे ज़्यादा related होना चाहिए crocodile के साथ because reptile ancestor है. तो obviously anything that comes out as an A should be a reptile. So A is a reptile. यहाँ पे snake and turtle, there are two options are there, but it should be the turtle that they started with. So turtle, crocodile, birds, snakes and outgroup. So there should be snake, and then outgroup that is separated. Outgroup here is mammals. So mammals are separated last. So maximum derived character is obtained here in the mammals, starting with this. So turtle, A is turtle, crocodile is provided, B is bird, C is snake and D are the mammals. So this is how you need to answer the question. You know, many a time student ask me like from classification biology, what kind of question can be done? This is the type of question that you can expect in part C of CSIR NET examination, जहाँ पे आपको अपना knowledge, classification की knowledge जो होता है ना कि chondrichthyes, osteichthyes, amphibia, reptilia, aves, mammalia, उस सारे के सारे चीज़ों के बारे में आपको जानकारी लेना होता है और आपको पता भी है कि इसका प्रॉपर्टी क्या है, कैसे काम करते हैं, बट यू आर नॉट ऑलवेज in a state of mind in order to find the answer. This is how you need to find the answer. ऐसे आंसर को फाइंड करना होता है, ancestral amniote से ऐसे डिवीजन होके इसको फाइंड करना होता है. That's how you need to find the answers to your questions. So I believe you get benefit from this. ऐसे और भी problems चाहिए, हजारों problems आपको मिलेंगे in the book that we have, the biomath handbook. You can get this book from us directly. Now, if you want to solve some more problems from the animal classification or cladogram analysis, that you will get from this book, Biomath Handbook, that is printed by shomus Biology only. It's our TR. This is a USP book. And cladogram analysis 139, that is the page. So you'll get into that page. And here is the cladogram analysis problem. First, there are techniques to solve the cladogram that is explained. And beyond that, there will be, these are the procedures to solve the cladogram. And then there will be the questions. These are questions to the cladogram. आप देख सकते हो कोई question यहाँ से आप screenshot लेना चाहो, you can take it. Otherwise you get this book where you'll get all the questions handy for you, where you can practice from all these questions. And the better and the more you practice, the better you will get to answering all these questions. Okay, so I think it's a better idea to get this book, Biomath Handbook, which is not to be sold alone. You need to get the book along with the complete package. That's 3,900. 5 books will be there included. Shipping charges are free and you can get it at your place.